Welcome back. We're talking with Steve Tolman, president of the Massachusetts AFL-CIO, about the fallout from this Supreme Court decision that is expected to hit unions or make life difficult for unions in the near future. Let's put it that way. Do you think that you, as a union leader, and others here in Massachusetts, need to rethink the way you play politics? And here's what I mean. Organized labor has been a very hard-working and effective political force in this state, raising money and investing it in campaigns, organizing. I remember you and I have talked about, you tried to ban paid initiative petition signatures to help cut down on some of those, and the teachers' unions angered a lot of parents who hope to take advantage of charter school opportunities when they successfully opposed, and you also successfully opposed, the expansion of charter schools. I just throw those out as a couple of sort of examples of tactics that may not have gone over that well with a lot of folks in the street. Do you think it's time to rethink any of that?
Well, I think some of it should be cleared up, John. I don't think we angered anybody. I mean, look, the governor had top executives giving $500,000 illegally to that contribution towards that question 2 on the ballot. We beat back that question, John, because there should be one public school system, not going off in a two-tier system. Charter schools were an experiment in the early 1990s. We were supposed to take what was good and bring it back to the public school system, John. It never happened.
Yeah, because the teacher union establishment rejected the idea.
Bottom line, it never happened. So we didn't anger anybody. We worked hard and convinced the public that we need one public school. Our public schools are suffering because of charter schools, because they're draining money from public schools. Let's have what America always had, is one good public school system. I'm a product of it. I bet you are too, John, and probably some of your staff. One public school system works in my head. And you know what? Our teachers are pretty good in Massachusetts. We've got a great group of teachers who give their heart and soul to make our public school system better. So I think we couldn't have angered anybody. I think we did right.
I got to ask you before our time runs out. Last week, Governor Baker signed this grand bargain in which the retailers dropped their sales tax cut ballot question. The Raise Up Massachusetts dropped their ballot questions. You got paid family and medical leave, a phased-in minimum wage hike, and no sales tax cut. The business community got a tax-free holiday and no more time and a half on Sundays. I know you were opposed to the whole deal, but isn't that the way it's supposed to work in a compromise? Everybody goes away happy with some things, unhappy with others, and we move on.
Well, that's what's going to have to happen, John. There's a lot of people that'll benefit socially from the minimum wage being increased. I think we could have done it anyway, and as well as the paid family leave. That's an economic benefit for a lot of working people. But why do we have to help people who've been hurt for the last 30 years, you know, who have economically haven't seen the increases? And then we have to take away Sunday overtime. Unfortunately, many of us feel that the retail industry held the legislature hostage in this case, John. They held them hostage to remove that overtime, and that's not just overtime on Sundays, that's holiday pay too. It's kind of a disgrace in my book, especially when these people work every Sunday. They give their heart and soul. That's built into their budget, and that has to be a trade-off. I think that was... I opposed it. I'm proud to say I opposed it, even though there was a great benefit to a good group of people who certainly deserve it. But there was no need, in my opinion, to adversely impact hardworking people who have money built into their budget and 30 years ago were promised that they wouldn't repeal it.
But again, we're almost out of time here, but to my question, isn't that the way it's supposed to work? That on these tough, contentious issues, you have to give a little to get a little?
Well, the thing is, John, you're given from one group who can't really afford it, and you're given to a group that certainly needs it. So there's a lot of people at the top of the realm, John, that could give more. Not the hard-working people who give their time up on Sundays. That overtime, I'm sorry, I don't think that should have been the trade-off, although I'm very pleased that so many people are going to benefit economically. And I'm hard-pressed to find a good answer to that. I believe that the legislature was held hostage on that sales tax ballot initiative. If you think that holding people hostage is the way to accomplish things, I'm not so sure I want to operate that way.
Well, once the millionaire's tax got thrown out, you lost your leverage, right?
Well, it got thrown out. I wonder why. Was that a court decision too, John?
Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts.
I know it was, and that's what I'm saying. So here we got the United States Supreme Court trying to attack organized labor at the root level, and then when hardworking people want to put a decent tax on those that can afford it, a fair tax, 4% over anything you make in $1 million, and somehow that's ruled unconstitutional on a technicality. Too bad.
Steve Tolman, thank you. Good to see you.
You bet, John.
President of the Mass AFL-CIO, look forward to having you back again soon. That's it for me now. It's back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.